All right, Earl. Well, a suspected drug dealer tries to use a Midtown daycare for cover. Police say Terrell Phillips was selling crack cocaine on Peach Street Tuesday, and they saw him doing it. And he took off. They followed him, and he made a run inside a Midtown daycare center. Trey Paul live at that daycare center with the director this morning. So I can only imagine they must have been wondering what was going on there, Trey.
They are. Terry Oliver's here with us, Ernie. She's going to help us understand what exactly happened. How did this guy get in, Terry?
Actually, our door was locked, and we keep it locked every day. He came to the door and knocked on the door and rang the doorbell, and we came to the door and said, "How can I help you?" And he kind of pushed his way in, and we said, "How can I help you?" And he said, "I need to use the restroom."
Was he using the intercom at that point?
You
asked.
The intercom.
So you opened the door for this stranger?
Well, we opened the door for a person who could have been patronizing our business. Okay. Because we're servicing 82 students. We don't know every parent, every grandparent, every mother, every father. So we opened the door and said, "How may I help you?" It is a viable business, and so most businesses open doors and ask questions. How can I help you?
Who made the call to let this guy in that they'd never seen before?
Actually, this person who came to our center is could potentially be a client. And so since we are a business, when a potential client, or all of our customers are strangers until we know them, we open the door and say, "How may I help you?" Because to you, it's a stranger. To us, it's a potential client. And the cameraman's a stranger today. So if he came to our door, our first question would be, "How can I help you?" Because it's a business.
Does the intercom work? I mean, do you have the ability to say, "How can I help you?" from the outside, and then question and screen the person before you actually let them in?
Absolutely. We do have that option. However, when someone comes to our door, we find it a little bit more welcoming to peek, just barely open the door and say, "How can I help you?" And that's what we did on yesterday. And then he pushed his way into our center, and our staff perfectly executed our plan and said, "You can't come in, you can't use our restroom." Not a child was injured, not a teacher was injured. Our staff was perfect in the execution of our safety plan, and I'm very proud of that.
Let me ask you this. Will things change now? Will you screen the person from the inside and use that intercom now versus letting them in? Will you be a little more apprehensive about letting someone actually come in the door?
This is a viable business, I'll say again, and so we'll welcome customers into our center. We'll execute our safety plan just like we did on yesterday, and we'll continue to say, "How may I help you?" And our prayer is that it will be an exchange like it has been for the last 21 years. We try our best, just like any school, kind of like Sandy Hook's. I think we actually did better than that because he was actually able to get into that building and harm children. And our staff, once again, perfectly executed our safety plan. Perfectly. This is a business. And so we welcome customers, and every customer is a stranger until we get to know them. Absolutely. So we'll review our system, but I actually think our system worked perfectly. Not a child was injured. Not a parent was injured, not a teacher was injured, no one was injured. And we've been here 21 years, and I stand firm on the fact that we executed our safety plan perfectly.
Would it have been perfect if you'd said, "How can I help you?" from the inside versus opening the door and just using the intercom only and extending to them and being welcoming that way versus opening the door?
I think that could have possibly been another news story, or something with the Better Business Bureau. We're coming into your business or asking to come into your business and to see your business and say, "Hi, how can I help you? We want to know about your business," and we're talking to them through a door. I'm not sure if that's best business practice, but what I do know is best business practice is to have a safety plan in place. We had it in place. To execute a safety plan, it was executed. To keep all of the children safe in our building, they were. To make sure that no adult was injured and no adult or child was. So business is business. This is a viable business for the last 21 years, and every child was safe.
Last question for you. What do you say to the parents who say, "This just isn't good enough. I would have preferred to have talked to the person through the door, through the intercom, versus opening the door"?
Well, like I said again, that's something that we can consider. We have a very viable parent organization, a PTA. And so I'm expecting those parents to come in and have dialogue with me on how we could make sure that something like this doesn't happen again, that a person gets into our building. But I'm sure that they're pleased, and I know they are because I spoke with every one of them myself, that no child was injured, no adult was injured, that nothing happened to any person that we're responsible to care for. We cared for them. We executed that plan. I can't say that enough about how proud I am. And I'm interested to have dialogue in our city about what will our mayor do about or whoever about having a sting operation so close to a child care center because they were chasing him so close to a school. And so those are the types of things I'd love to see our city not only have dialogue with child care centers about, but about with our city in general. How are we going to address crime in our city? Because it's not a daycare issue, it's really a crime in our city issue. We executed our plan and executed it well.
Thank you for speaking to us. We know you didn't have to. We appreciate you talking to us this morning. All right, Terrell Phillips, the man police arrested, is supposed to be in court today. We'll let you know what happens. Live in Midtown, I'm Trey Paul. Good morning, Memphis.